Have you ever thought about marrying a Japanese woman? Maybe the idea sounds fascinating or even romantic. The culture, the exotic beauty, the language, all of it might seem very appealing at first glance. But are you really prepared for the cultural differences and challenges that this kind of relationship can bring? In today's video, we're going to dive deep into the main difficulties you might face when marrying a Japanese woman. Of course, we'll also talk about the advantages. It's not just about romance, but about how two very different cultures can meet and sometimes even clash. So, if you're interested in this topic or just curious, stay with me until the end. I guarantee this video will completely change your perspective. Let's start by talking about culture. This is without a doubt one of the biggest barriers, but also one of the biggest treasures when it comes to marrying a Japanese woman. Japan has a millennia-old culture, full of traditions, rituals, and values that shape people's behavior. One of the most important aspects of Japanese culture is the concept of wa, which means harmony. For them, it's very important that relationships, both personal and professional, remain harmonious without big conflicts or tensions. This may sound a little different from what we're used to in Latin America, where we express our emotions more directly. And sometimes we even enjoy a good argument, right? But in Japan, avoiding conflict is key. This might give the impression that people are hiding what they feel. That perception of coldness that many Westerners have of Japanese people is directly related to this constant pursuit of harmony. It doesn't mean that your Japanese partner doesn't love you or that they don't care, but they might have a different way of showing it. And here's a tip. If you're thinking of marrying a Japanese woman, be prepared to interpret more subtle gestures. Often, affection is shown more through actions than words. Now let's talk about family, which can be a major point of surprise for those of us who come from cultures where the extended family is a big part of daily life. It's common for us to gather with uncles, cousins, and nephews for a Sunday lunch or a birthday party. In Japan, though, family gatherings tend to be more intimate and reserved. The family unit is usually small, often just parents and children. It can be quite a shock to realize that big celebrations like Christmas don't include dozens of relatives. And here's a thought. Would you be willing to give up those festive traditions in favor of a quieter, more reserved life? Or maybe, over time, you could find a middle ground and create your own traditions. Another topic worth diving into is work. In Japan, work isn't just a way to make a living, it's a fundamental part of a person's identity. Many men, and increasingly more women, dedicate long hours to their jobs, which can impact the balance between personal and professional life. There are even specific terms like karoshi, which means death from overwork. This may seem exaggerated to us, but it's a very real part of Japanese life. Imagine how it would be if you and your partner had completely different schedules, with her coming home late or even bringing work on weekends. It's essential to understand that, for the Japanese, dedication to work is also a way of showing commitment to family stability. Let's now talk about money, a topic that can be more delicate than it seems. The way Japanese people view money is quite different from how we see it. They place a lot of emphasis on saving and planning for the future. From a young age, they learn not to spend on frivolities and always think long-term. In Japan, financial security is a highly valued principle, and impulsive consumption isn't as encouraged as it is in parts of Latin America or even the US. If you're someone who enjoys life without worrying too much about saving, you could find yourself facing some conflicts. But that careful planning can also bring the financial stability that many marriages seek. Maybe it's time to reflect. How could you combine your different views on money and create a healthy balance in your relationship? Now, for those of you who love food, Japanese cuisine is a world of its own. Of course, many of us have already tried sushi, sashimi, and other typical dishes in Japanese restaurants. But living with someone from Japan means diving into a much more varied, and sometimes even exotic, diet for our Latin taste buds. An interesting curiosity is the Japanese breakfast, which can include foods that we associate more with lunch, like fish, rice, and miso soup. This could be quite a cultural shock for someone used to having bread with butter and coffee for breakfast. Would you adapt to this new food routine? Maybe it's a great opportunity to expand your palate, but be ready to step out of your comfort zone. We also can't forget that Japan is known for its social rules. As I mentioned earlier, respect for others' space is fundamental in Japan. This is reflected in the silence in public places, punctuality, and many other small norms that maintain harmony in everyday life. For many Latin Americans who come from a culture where we're more expressive and loud, this can be a major adjustment. But here's an important point. If you plan to live or spend long periods in Japan, learning to respect these rules will help you integrate better into society. And, of course, it will also reflect in your relationship with your partner. Another key element that is often overlooked but can be crucial for the success of the relationship is communication. Even if your partner speaks English or Spanish, learning Japanese can make a huge difference. Language carries a lot of the culture and values of a people. When you make the effort to learn your partner's language, you're showing respect and commitment to their culture. Plus, it can greatly improve your relationship with her family, especially if her parents or grandparents don't speak another language. Can you imagine how awkward it would be to spend a holiday with your in-laws and not be able to communicate with them? And finally, I want to touch on a more sensitive subject: the type of relationship you're looking for. There are certain stereotypes and misunderstandings about marrying Japanese women that could put you in uncomfortable situations. Some people think that Japanese women are submissive, or that it's easy to win their hearts just because you're a foreigner. This is far from the truth. Relationships based on mutual respect and equality are fundamental, and it's important to keep this in mind from the start. Additionally, there's always the risk of meeting people who aren't looking for a serious relationship but see foreigners as a novelty. Always stay alert and seek out someone who genuinely wants to build a life with you. So marrying a Japanese woman can be an incredible experience, but also one full of challenges. As we've seen, cultural differences, views on family, work, and money can be big obstacles, but they're also opportunities for growth and learning. The most important thing is mutual respect and the willingness of both partners to adapt and understand these differences. If you're willing to embark on this journey, the rewards can be immense. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This helps me a lot to keep bringing content like this. And of course, share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever thought about marrying someone from a different culture? How was that experience? Let's keep the conversation going down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.